Right, it's officially Tuesday, officially things are happening, officially other things have happened, officially stuff isn't happening, and yes, before you ask, yes, there's a postscript. Right then, hello there, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. My name is Paul, I'm also called Knickknack. I run Knickknack's Old Peculiar, the world's most boringly repetitive blog. I run Mr. Cuddy2977, my YouTube channel, which is possibly just as boring, but possibly not. I do the daily teaser quizzes, I talk about movies I've seen, and I talk about TV shows I'm watching. Right at the moment, on Friday nights, I'm watching the current series of Strange New Worlds and posting my reviews of a Saturday evening of said episodes. I've also, over the past few Mondays, been watching Series 3 of The Mandalorian. This is, of course, logically speaking, the way. You'd guess that. And as today is Tuesday the 4th of July, you'll realise this is my review of the most recent episodes I've seen, Guns for Hire. I wanted to tell you about it. I should also tell you I'm using a new ring light, so if you want to comment on what you're seeing right now, please feel free to drop me any hints if you've got any that you can spare. At any rate, Guns for Hire. Here's what I thought. Episode 6, Chapter 22, Guns for Hire, opens with a summary of earlier episodes reminding us that we first met Bo-Katan Kryze, Katie Sackhoff, in The Heiress, the third episode of Season 2. The scene shifts to remind us that Bo-Katan has recently fought Moff Gideon for control of the legendary Darksaber, and a dispirited Kryze has given up her plans for ruling Mandalore. It's only when she meets Din Djarin, Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian of the show's title, that Kryze finds something of a new direction. Post-titles, we find ourselves on a Quarren spaceship, on its way to the planet Trask, a trip that's interrupted when the ship is held up by an Imperial cruiser run by Axe Woves, who's been hired by an unnamed Mon Calamari customer who has an issue with the Quarren captain. If you didn't know it, Axe is the former second-in-command to Bo-Katan Kryze, and Bo-Katan seriously needs to have a little word with Axe. The only thing stopping her is the job that she and Din have to do on Placia 15. Now, what did I make of Guns for Hire? What did I think of it? It's not necessarily my favourite episode. Some of the earlier ones I think are better made. But it does offer a nice change of pace. Earlier episodes of this series, especially the scenes that show us the deeply ambiguous Katie O'Brien character, Elia Kane, can be quite dark in places. So Guns for Hire, with Lizzo and Jack Black as the Duchess and her husband Captain Bombardier, make for a nice, light, fluffy change of pace. Light, fluffy, and possibly even slightly camp. Science fiction does fall foul of it sometimes. But there's possible dark elements in there somewhere that does make it watchable for me. I tend to prefer them nasty to an extent. We have a no-holds-barred duel between Bo-Katan Kryze and a former deputy that's a riveting watch. We have, in the actions of Christopher Lloyd's Commissioner Hellgate, yes, that Christopher Lloyd, we have a reminder in his actions that not everyone that works for apparently peaceful governments is either all they see or benevolent. Knowing Lloyd's character is not a supporter of the New Republic reminds us there's evil coming and that some will welcome the First Order seen in the sequel movies. Yes, Guns for Hire is a light and fluffy side, but there is a darker tone there. As a minor point there, we learn a little of Placia 15, the planet that provides the setting for Guns for Hire. We learn from a robot barman that there's a droid drink lubrication oil called Nepenthe. Now, I immediately wondered if there was going to be a bit of a copyright spat between Disney Plus and Paramount, because I know perfectly well that Nepenthe is an episode of Star Trek Picard's first season and the home world of Will Riker and Deanna Troi. I should know, I reviewed the episode a couple of years ago. It's quite a good fun episode, and it's nice seeing Troi and Riker again. But before I started throwing accusations about, I felt looking up the word Nepenthe could be a good idea. It turns out it first appears, or was lifted from, Homer's Odyssey. It's a possibly fictional plant used to make potions of forgetfulness. So, yes, while I'm wondering where this episode's writer first heard the word, I'm blown if I think there's a potential copyright case, because, of course, whoever came up with the episode can immediately point to Homer. Way it goes. At any rate, yes, this is a well-done episode, all copyright issues aside. It has to be also said it's a good episode with equally good performances all round. Christopher Lloyd as Hellgate did a fantastic job, and very much a villainous piece. Jack Black did reasonably well, I would say. I've not seen enough of the man's work to be able to judge. I can remember him cropping up in a minor role in the X-Files many years ago, but that's the last time I can definitely remember seeing him something. But the real star of this episode, outside of the regular cast, was Lizzo as the Duchess. Okay, granted I wasn't expecting much. I think I and most of the planet doesn't expect much when a pop star suddenly decides they want to be an actor. But Lizzo did very well in what, as far as I can see, was her first debut, even, acting role. Well played her. But with all that said, what am I thinking of Guns for Hire? Yes, as I said towards the start of this discussion, not necessarily my favourite episode. There's dark touches, certainly, but it's possibly a little bit too camp. It is still, with that said, a very well done piece, and one that means, yes, I will be watching the next episode. I will be watching chapter 20, let me double check here. I will be watching chapter 23, The Spies, on the 10th of July 2023, and I will be giving you my written and video reviews on the 11th. Between now and then, I'll be watching Among the Lotus Eaters, the next episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, on Friday the 7th of July, and posting my written and video reviews of that on Saturday the 8th. I will hopefully see you then. Until then, this is the way. Be seeing you. Right, it's got to be said the droid bar scene in Guns for Hire is... Okay, we've probably all seen something similar before, but it is quite funny. You know the trope, you know the story by now. A couple of strangers walk into an isolated bar and everybody in the place starts going very quiet and starts staring at them. Not necessarily in a hostile way, but just staring. We've all seen An American Werewolf in London. That's where I last remember seeing something similar, but it also happens to Din and Bo-Katan in this episode of The Mandalorian. Although, to be fair to both Katie Sackhoff and to Pedro Pascal, neither of them start howling at the moon. That said, that is not why I started this footnote. No, I'm also wondering about design, because I can't help but wonder if whoever designed the robots in this scene has seen the cover of Pink Floyd's Division Bell. Check out the highlighted robot.